Okay, so we've gone over all of the commands from the command prompt. We've gone over the use of those commands in the command prompt. We've done lots of stuff with that, but we haven't really talked about much about the practical application and the actual use of these commands. First of all, I want to mention a couple things. On the assessment, I know that there are a couple of answers that are wrong. I will correct them. I'll correct them as soon as we get back on the ProCross site. Michael's saying we can get back on now, but it was not working earlier when we found the mistakes. But as an example, one of them was, how do you find the host MAC address? And I think the correct answer was listed as ICMP /all. That's not even a command. It should be either ipconfig or ipconfig /all. The other one was not necessarily a mistake because it does ask you for the best answer. And the question was, you can't get to a website and it gave you the IP configuration for that adapter. What's the problem? The correct answer was the fact that the DNS server was 127.0.0.1. Does anybody know why that would be an incorrect answer? What is 127.0.0.1? No one knows? Austin? What is the address of 127.0.0.1? Larry?
It's a public IP.
Nope, it's not a public IP address. I'll give you a hint. It's reserved for testing. What's it called? Yes?
It's used for ping. Isn't it a command for ping?
Nope. I mean, you use it in conjunction with ping. Yes?
Isn't it a class D?
Nope. Michael? It's called the loopback address, which is the IP address of your, anytime it's 127.0.0.1 in an IP config 4, that means if you ping, say for example, 127.0.0.1, you're pinging your own adapter. No matter what IP address was assigned to it, the 127.0.0.1 is reserved in IP magic rules that it'll ping itself. Okay, so it always refers back to itself. So if that's listed as the DNS server, that means your own machine is functioning as a DNS server, which is not realistic. Okay, and in order to be able to, what does the DNS server do again? What's the DNS server do again?
Resolves host IP address. No.
Resolves host names to IP addresses. Explain to me what that means.
Going onto the website.
It's the name of the website as an example. It's a name of a host name. So, server.microsoft.com is a host name. Actually, it's a fully qualified domain name. In order to convert that to an IP address, there has to be some method, some database, someplace of saying server.microsoft.com equals an IP address. Okay? And that could either be on your local computer, not as a DNS server, but as a host file or as a previously resolved IP address or host name. All right, so we're going to back up and now go through some of these possible scenarios. Okay. This is very important that you pay attention to this. It's very important that you not take a bunch of notes, but you think through the process of what we're talking about and the use of these commands. So I would suggest that you get up your own little command prompt while we go through it up here on the screen, and you try to figure out how you can use this. Okay? And I'll give you, you'll use this whether you leave this class, never get a certification, and move on in life. If you're going to be on the internet and you're going to be on a Windows machine, well, if you're on a Macintosh, chances are you'll never be able to figure this stuff out. But if you're on a Windows machine, then you'll use this. Or you should be able to use it, whether you get a certification or not, because it'll help you troubleshoot different problems. I'll give you a perfect example. Last night at my house, and I finally bothered to figure it out. And it's been bothering other people in my house for weeks, if not months. Pause that, please. We'll come back and talk about it in a little bit.